Breaking news, 6 people killed in a helicopter crash in New York City. What witnesses say they saw on the banks of the Hudson.
Tomorrow is a new WRAL weather alert day, when the first round of rain arrives and when we could see strong storms. I'll time out everything to expect.
And tariff turbulence. As the roller coaster ride for the U.S. economy goes on, we explain how we got here by looking at the past and possible future of tariffs.
First time in a long time, even in a volatile market, new home buyers are more optimistic than ever. What that means for buyers and sellers alike.
Well, this is exactly what my pollen haters out there want to see. Pollen haters unite. The rain once again on our doorstep, washing all that nasty stuff away. So this is a live look over Chapel Hill, looking pretty soggy on Franklin Street. Got some raindrops on the lens there. The rain is going to pass over us over the next couple of hours, but the real strong stuff is going to show up tomorrow. Friday, as Kat was mentioning, is a WRAL weather alert day. Thank you for being with us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. So Kat is here too. Kat, give us an idea. Got a slight chance of thunderstorms with this system coming through tonight and into tomorrow.
Absolutely. The good news is with tonight's storms, it would be rain, as you mentioned, to help wash away the pollen, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder. But tomorrow is when we have the greater threat for severe weather. It's a level 1 out of 5 threat, so still relatively isolated. The main threat tomorrow may actually end up being hail. So we're going to be on the lookout for hail tomorrow, and there is still the potential for some strong damaging wind gusts. Luckily, with this setup, the tornado threat is pretty low. But outside tonight, the rain is here. It's making its way into the triangle as we speak. The rain has arrived in Durham. It is just starting to push into Wake County. The airport's seeing some of the rain now. Sanford, you are seeing the rain as well. I would say it should be in Johnston County within the next hour and eventually pushing east of I-95, probably closer to 8:30 to 9:30 tonight. Rain chances this evening and tonight. We're up to a 70% chance of rain by 9 and 10 o'clock. That chance going up again a little bit overnight. Tomorrow's hail threat is an interesting one, and I'll explain why that could be a concern coming up.
All right, Kat, this is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. I want to update you on a breaking story we've been following all afternoon. 6 people killed in a helicopter crash in New York City. The live pictures right now from the Hudson River where that helicopter went down. It was a tourist helicopter that had a pilot and a family of Spanish tourists. 3 adults and 3 children were killed. And this video shows the moment when that cabin or that fuselage of the helicopter hit the water, and you see up here as I put this into motion, the rotor from the helicopter still spinning and other pieces of debris falling into the water there. Witnesses say the helicopter appeared to break up before it hit the water. That investigation is just beginning.
That video is just remarkable, Brian. Thank you. All right, let's roll you through some of the other big headlines from today. These are the 5 things you should know right now. A Wake County Sheriff's deputy is under investigation. This video is something else. It's the shooting and killing of a family dog. The deputy is seen in this video knocking on the door, pulling out his gun, entering the home when nobody was there. The deputy was serving a civil summons. Says the dog bit him. The sheriff's office is looking into why the deputy went inside. Today, the Wake County DA's office, they ruled that the Raleigh police officers were justified in using their force during a shooting back in January. This is the one where Officer Max Gillick was badly hurt in a shootout with 70-year-old Antonio Rodriguez. Rodriguez died. Gillick has since come home from the hospital. He is recovering. Investigators say before police arrived, Rodriguez killed his ex-wife's boyfriend, 73-year-old John Rowe. A Durham nonprofit announced nearly 500 layoffs nationwide, 144 of them here at home, folks who work in North Carolina. FHI 360 develops solutions to fight infectious diseases and food insecurity around the world. The company is blaming the Trump administration's federal funding cuts. Those layoffs take effect on May 2nd. A brewery in Cary has filed for bankruptcy. The Cotton House Craft Brewer posted that a failed partnership put significant financial strain on their business. They're now going to undergo some restructuring, they say, while continuing to make and serve their beer. A recall alert. Parents, listen to this. This is the Baby Joy convertible high chair and activity center, and it could be dangerous to children. Apparently, the leg openings are too wide, and the tray can disengage. So that means a child could slide right through there. The product was sold by Amazon and Target. If you have one of these, you can get a full refund. So, not one day into the 90-day tariff pause, and President Trump says he won't rule out extending that pause. It could go longer. But he also said if they can't reach a deal with these countries, those bigger tariff rates might come back. The point is the tariff landscape seems to be changing almost every single day. So tonight, let's come at this story from both ends of the timeline, right? The history and then the possible future. Let's start by taking a look back. Let's establish some context here and answer the question, how did we get here?
President Trump has been talking tariffs for a while now. Here he is at the debate back in September.
We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world.
But to be fair, he's been talking about overhauling trade for a lot longer than that. He talked about it on the 2016 campaign trail when he came to North Carolina.
We're tired of being the country where we can't make good trade deals anymore.
It was a year into his first term. President Trump issued tariffs on China, as well as on steel and aluminum. When President Biden was in the White House, he kept those tariffs, even extended them into 2024. Fast forward to Inauguration Day this year.
We will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
The first tariff flex happened a couple weeks later. Colombia refused to accept deportation flights. Trump threatened them with a 25% tariff, and Colombia's leaders changed their minds. Then things really sped up. In February, the tariffs came for Mexico and Canada and China. 2 days later, the president hit the pause button, carving out exemptions for Mexico and Canada, but not for China. Then in March, it was return of the tariff for Mexico and Canada until they reached another deal for a delay. Shortly after that, an increase on steel and aluminum tariffs took effect. Then, April 2nd, it was Tariff Palooza. The president whipped out that big chart, 10% tariffs on everyone, and some countries got hit even harder.
Reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them.
The market tanked, the biggest Wall Street sell-off since COVID. This week, China and the European Union retaliated, each passing their own tariffs on the U.S. And then the White House changed course. The market exploded. The S&P saw one of its biggest gains since World War II, a 90-day pause. Everyone's tariffs dropping to 10%, but not China. They jumped to 125, except not really. The White House clarifying it's actually 145%. And the market tumbled once again. The 401k freakout is not over yet. And that's how we got here.
And did you see that graph for the Dow Jones at the end, up and down all over the place, enough to give you motion sickness? But there is another thrill ride that we need to talk about when it comes to this story. It's not just the market, it's the housing market as well, specifically mortgage rates. And despite the tariff roller coaster ride that we've been on, they've been slowly starting to tick down. But will that last? Here's WRAL's Sean Gallagher.
So we have, I want to say, just about 60 of them.
When you step foot inside these homes in Wake Forest,
This is a great representation of what you can get.
you're flooded with what's to come, making memories, and a mortgage. James Flanagan at Tri Point Homes says he's seeing more first-time home buyers,
It feels like a single-family home.
with nearly 3 in 4 optimistic about the market.
And a lot of people are realizing, okay, interest rates are where they are.
For 3 straight weeks, the mortgage rate has gone down, peaking interest.
I think they're just excited. I think people are ready to buy a home.
At 6.62%, the mortgage rate is a quarter of a point lower than it was at this point in February.
But I don't know what a quarter of a point really does outside of psychological.
But that lower rate can mean a lower monthly payment, which is important to home buyers. The median home price in the Triangle is over $460,000. And if you bought now compared to February, it could save you about $78 a month or nearly $28,000 over the course of a 30-year mortgage. Do you notice a difference like week to week depending on how the mortgage rate changes?
We do. We do a lot of counter advertising. Like, hey, these might go up a little bit, but let's help you.
Flanagan says there are a number of incentives out there to make an even bigger dent on mortgage rates.
Like getting a rate down from like where it is now up in like the upper 6s, and we can get them down into the 5s or even low 5s. That changes the game for most people.
And Turbot often looks at other incentives that can really help put those first-time buyers at ease financially.
And they're getting $10,000 in closing costs, $2,000 off because she's a teacher, and $7,000 from their preferred lender. So you're almost talking $20,000 of credit.
And I know we're talking tenths of percentage points here, but Turbot tells me if it drops by a full percentage point, it could flood the market with 5 million buyers nationwide. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
We'll see what happens. Thank you, Sean. So as Josh Stein reaches now 100 days as North Carolina's governor, it happened quickly, right? I got a question for him. Why exactly is he bro-hugging Republicans? Aren't these guys supposed to be rivals or something? Well, up next, our state capitol team explains Stein's approach. And you got to stick around for this one. I talked to some very impressive students in our area set to compete in the World Championship for robotics. That's tonight's One Last Thing. We're back after this. This week, Josh Stein reaches 100 days since being sworn in as North Carolina's governor. He's got a long list, got a lot of stuff on his plate, and so far he's been taking a bit of a different approach to the job than his predecessor. I spoke with WRAL state government reporter Paul Spey about how this has all played out so far. All right, Paul, let's start with what Governor Stein has said his top priority, which is the Hurricane Helene relief and getting things settled out there. It's been a terrible tragedy, 100 people killed, $60 billion in damage. This is an issue that's going to take more than 100 days, but he has been working pretty hard on this topic.
Right. He's made it pretty clear that this is his top priority coming into office, and that's getting relief to Helene victims, not only getting relief to them, but getting it faster. That's one thing that his predecessor, Roy Cooper, was sort of criticized for after Hurricanes Matthew and Florence. There's a group called Encore that critics say was just too slow in getting people back in their houses. So Stein came in, he said he's going to use a different office. He created a new one, and he had a bunch of executive orders that were aimed at speeding up this relief. In the meantime, he's also appointing Republicans to some of the committees that are overseeing a lot of that work.
Let's talk about Roy Cooper. You're always going to get compared to your predecessor, especially in this situation. Some people thought he was going to be a Cooper 2.0, specifically because they took the same path to get to the governor's mansion. It turns out that they're proving to be very different in a lot of ways. Take a look at some of this video here. So this is an interaction between parties. This is Stein after the State of the State address. He's not just shaking hands with Republicans, but he's giving them hugs, right? So we're seeing what seems to be maybe a more friendly relationship between a Democratic governor and the Republicans in power.
Right, and you're right. That did not happen with Cooper's first State of the State address. And you know what? Stein and Cooper came in under different circumstances. Cooper was campaigning on repealing HB 2. That was the bathroom bill that made people go to the bathroom corresponding with their birth gender. It was pretty combative. Some Republicans wanted to keep that in place, whereas Cooper wanted to repeal it. With Stein, he's coming in at a time where everyone agrees hurricane relief is the top priority. And, you know, Republicans have said they're really happy with how Stein has reached across the aisle and to almost every member of the House and the Senate. We actually spoke to Senate Leader Phil Berger the other day, and here's him talking about that.
The governor has been more personally active in reaching out to members, calling members, inviting folks over. It's productive and it's helpful on those things where there's a possibility of finding common ground.
And he went on to say that, you know, when they see quotes from each other in the media, now that they have this open line of communication, you know, they can talk about it and make sure things aren't misinterpreted. So we asked Stein, what has this been like for you? And here's what he said.
I think that there's an opportunity for us to avoid these ideological bills, these social war bills that really just serve to distract us.
We do live in kind of a divisive political time, and I'm wondering how Democrats should feel having having a Democrat in the governorship who is so friendly with the Republicans who are in power, and how sometimes those agendas are so different?
If I was a Democrat and I was hearing what Stein said just then, I would think, hey, it's probably good that he's reaching out now. He's sort of laying the groundwork to just give Democrats and Republicans, give them a better shot at being on the same page. So we don't see the types of fights publicly like we did with things like HB2.
All right. 100 days down. More work to be done.
Hundreds more to go.
Thank you, Paul. And again, that's just a bit of the first 100 days of the governor's term here. We're going to have a much bigger report on how he is working together with Republican legislators. You can find that in the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. So, Kat, we have some rain moving through. I like this new Garner cam. Kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great shot. You can see the rain approaching right now from the west. In Garner, it's going to be on your doorstep here any moment now. So all of this is moving west to east at about 30 miles per hour. Grab the umbrella before you head out tonight. We're going to need it. The rain is just starting to move into Raleigh as we speak here at the TV station. A little bit heavier off to our west, closer to parts of Chatham County. So we're going to watch for the intensity to ramp up a little bit. But unlike what we often see with a line of showers and storms, usually it's the leading edge, and that hits with the heaviest rain and the strongest winds. Not in this case. It actually starts as a more light to moderate rain and may end up ending with some heavier rain. So let's take a look at the timing here. Fuquay Arena, you've got about 8 minutes to go before the rain arrives for you. Raleigh, downtown at least 7:27, so about 9 minutes from now. Wake Forest, just over 10 minutes from now at 7:30. Garner, 7:33. Rollsville, 7:40. Lillington, 7:42. Anger, 7:43. And Knightdale, 7:45. And, just under half an hour there. So this is part one that's moving through right now. This was sparked by a cold front. And this is just part one. Notice all of these severe thunderstorm watches and warnings off to the west. And some of the severe thunderstorm warnings have quite a bit of lightning in them. This is part two. This is what gets here tomorrow. It's this upper level low that's going to swing through the area. And that has a more robust setup. In fact, we could even see some hail tomorrow. So let's talk about this setup with tomorrow. It's an upper level low. So usually when you see hail form, you've got the water droplets moving up in the cloud. They get high enough in the cloud and they reach this freezing height, and then they form into hailstones. Tomorrow's setup, it's actually going to be a much lower freezing height. So those water particles, they don't have to go very far. It's not going to take very long for some hail to develop. The good news is usually that's on the smaller side, but we could still see some strong enough storms to produce some severe hail. Let's take a look at Futurecast. It was pretty spot on with the arrival of the rain moving into the area tonight. We'll continue to see this band pushing to the east, and then we could see a second band that moves through overnight. The good news here is that Futurecast has been pretty consistent in bringing this just north and east of the triangle by the time we get to the main morning commute tomorrow. So meteorologist Mike Mays will let you know if that changes with the new run of Futurecast that comes in tonight at 10 and 11. And then the bulk of the thunderstorms would fire up during the afternoon hours and the early evening. It looks like it would be probably in the 3 p.m. to 7, 8 o'clock time frame that we'll have to watch for those severe storms tomorrow evening. It is a WRAL weather alert day, and then temperatures dip on Saturday. 59 with a lot of clouds, lows in the 40s this weekend, so keep the layers handy. But by Monday, the 80s are coming back, 82 degrees with some sunshine to start next week.
Sounds good. Good way to start on a Monday. Thank you, Kat. You know, they say kids are detached, they're stuck on their phones, they're not engaged nowadays. Not these kids, not these students from the Triangle. Tonight's one last thing, the robotics teams from our area competing in the World Championship next week. It's in about 2 minutes. Our one last thing for you tonight, we want to showcase some of the amazing stuff that the young people in our area are working on. This past weekend, teams of high school students from all over North Carolina competed in a state robotics championship. So this is what it looks like. Take a look. Robots zipping all over the place, taking items from one side to another and doing it very quickly. High school students build and program these robots. They're over 100 pounds. It's very impressive. These robotic teams are all over our area, and they have some pretty awesome names. There's a team in Durham called the Zebracorns. They were among the state champions this year. What's a Zebracorn? It doesn't matter. Who cares? This competition is not over. The World Championship is next week. It's in Houston, the World Championship. And a few teams from our area qualified. The Eastbots. They hail from Chapel Hill. They're ranked 7th in North Carolina. This is their robot. They designed it, built it, programmed it. This thing is they did it all in about 2 months, if you can believe it. I spoke to one of the team's sponsors. He says students really take the lead on this and work together.
There's not enough adults to tell them all what to do every time. So students learning teamwork, some of them I'm be ready to hire as engineering managers by the time they finish. Great seeing them all grow up with all those skills.
Another team from our area, Slice, is from Fuquay-Varina. They rank 5th in North Carolina. And again, they built and designed all of this on their own. Oftentimes, these teams have to do a lot more than just the engineering here. They have to apply for grants. They have to raise money, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, just to get the equipment and to enter these competitions. They told me it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
I really love that every single day is a new challenge and something different. It's very rarely that you're doing the exact same thing every day. You get a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, and it really helps you know what you would be interested in going into college and into your future career, what kind of things that you're good at and that are the best suit for you.
One more. This is Valence Robotics. This is out of Durham. They also ranked in the state. And I think one of their students said it best when I asked why young people are interested in robotics.
All of us are putting in probably around 10 plus hours a week. So I'd hope to say that we all enjoy it. I know personally I do.
I wish all of them good luck. The World Championships begin next Wednesday in Houston. Everybody's very excited. I talked to all of them today. We'll let you know how the teams do. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news. We got our next newscast coming up at 10 o'clock. That's over on Fox 50. And then we'll see you back here on WRAL tonight at 11. Got the rain falling, washing away that pollen. Thank goodness. Good to have you with us tonight.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.